topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Mindset Marketing Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry. With your host, Marie Mason.
Oh, I just love that beat. So welcome back, everybody. Oh my gosh. So I cannot believe the show we're going to have today. Plinny, we're going to have so much fun. So welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show. I have really got to stop writing tongue twisters. Seriously. Or alliterations. But anyway, I am the host, Marie Mason, and our lovely and talented co-host is Plinny Phoenix. And before we bring up, definitely make sure she says that. And then make sure before we bring up our lovely and talented, I should say handsome because it's a man. So our handsome and talented guest, Dan, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Rochon. He can certainly correct me if I'm incorrect. And then we're going to be sharing some top tips of the week. So I can't wait to share the show with you. So, would you like to share the tip of the week, Plinny? I know you're preparing. So you have about
absolutely
3 steps to success. So take it away.
So 3 steps to success. This is the tip of the week today, and it's about performance. So I'm a performance coach too, a voice coach. So when you talk to your clients in public and you get nervous, that's a performance. So you get nervous and that's normal, but how do you overcome that? If your voice breaks or it doesn't come out when you are in front of people and you have to talk, and if you're an entrepreneur,
that's one of the problems I sometimes have. Oh yeah, even on this show, I feel like I've caught in the mouth, and I'm stumbling on my words, and that's why. It's because
that's one of the problems, exactly. Or there is there are people out there that have to do a meeting, or they meet their client, they have to present something, and their voice doesn't come out at all because they are so nervous. And I want to tell you, we are nervous because we care. So it's normal that we're nervous, but you need to overcome it because you have to talk, right, in front of your client. So what do? I have 3 steps to success for you. So pen and paper, take a note. So tip number 1, 3 steps to success to make a good speech is starting with the right foot. And to do this, first, before even talking, take a deep breath. Even if you're in front of people, take a deep breath. Okay, we switch everything off and we calm down with a deep, good breath. Number 2, second step. If you prepare something, at least, or if you have bullet points in your speech, at least prepare the first 2-3 words, how you start. As we said, we need to start with the right foot. So prepare and start saying them in your head. As we know, we get prepared and repetition makes you good, right? But in real life, when you are in front of people, you can't repeat the same thing many times, right? You need to get it right, right? You need to get it right the first time. How do you do that? With the second step, you start to say in your head over and over again the first 2-3 words of your speech until you're happy, right? So that's you rehearsing in front of people, they don't even notice, before even starting. So step number 1, big breath. Step number 2, start saying the first 2-3 words in your head. Step number 3, when you're ready, you start. No doubts, no questions, not anything. You just start. And you just rehearse in your head a lot of times, so you're good to go. So 3 steps to success to have a fantastic speech to start with the right foot is 1, take a good breath. 2, rehearse the first 2-3 words in your head until you're happy. And number 3, start. No doubts. Just, it's like jumping from a pier. Just start. And
Awesome.
I wish you all the success with your speech.
That's brilliant. Yay. So, I mean, and that's one of the things I have heard is always prepare it. And sometimes even do things like mouth exercises. And oh my gosh, there's so many different things that you can do, but we're not going to get into that on this show.
Yeah, they can go actually to last week, because last week we did, we talked about word map a little bit in the tip. And if you want to know more, just reach out with me.
Yep, reach out to Plinny Phoenix, and maybe you could give them your way to get connected to you. Is there information? Yeah, because I don't think anyone even knows. Go ahead and share that.
Oh, it's my website is bettervoicenow.com.
Simple, love it. And with that, Better Voice Now, you said, right?
Bettervoicenow.com.
Sweet, simple, love it. Awesome. Thank you, Plinny.
Cool.
See, I don't have to share all the information because I'm not the only one that has all the knowledge. So we can all share our knowledge and tips. See? And then speaking of which, we got to bring up a guest who's going to share us more tips. Oh my gosh. And you're going to be drinking from a fire hose. So anyway, let's just dive in and introduce him. So welcome back again to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Talk Show with your host, Marie Mason, and my lovely and talented, intelligent Plinny Phoenix, who's my co-host. And our guest today is Dan Rochon. He is the visionary and hit coach of Greetings Virginia from Virginia, USA. He is the owner of Greetings Virginia and founder of the Consistent and Persistent Income Community. He has his own podcast that I was a guest on a year ago and was very happy to talk to his audience. So today he's returning the favor and talking to mine. So that's how it goes around here, right? And then, oh my gosh, he's going to give you some great tips on this topic, which is helping clients flourish successfully. So take it away, Dan. Are you here? Come on down. Come on down and join the fun.
I am here. Thanks for welcoming
Hello,
me.
welcome.
You're welcome. I hope you had a chance to enjoy our lovely little bantering in the beginning.
Plinny, thank you for your tips.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a deep breath.
Well.
Hold on.
Okay.
Now I'm back. I was taking step 1 of the 3 right there.
I'll give you one more tip. I'll give you all one more tip about that. You breathe through your nose and you breathe through your diaphragm, because I breathe through my mouth, and I know I have a breathing coach, and I know Plinny does breathing coaches. And isn't it true? You put your hand on your belly or your belly button and just take a nice deep breath from the gut through the nose and exhale through the nose. And then you won't get
Well, we could do like one episode only about this.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a fun. But anyway, long story short, so now we got everyone calm and relaxed. We're ready to rock and roll in your talk, right, Dan? So.
I'm here, and I am also the lovely and talented.
Oh, good. So you didn't mind that. I didn't want to offend anybody.
I would love to be lovely and talented. I have no problem with that at all.
Excellent. Good. At least I didn't offend you. So I'm so glad that you're here today. And I'm going to
let's start with the talent that you put in the name.
Yes, that's a good
of your
question.
company. Visionary head coach in Greetings Virginia from Virginia. Greetings Virginia, and founder of Consistent and Predictable Income Community.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Can you explain us that?
So I've been in sales since 2000. Well, I've been in sales since 1987. I've been in real estate sales since 2007, and I've been studying, I've been studying persuasion techniques, marketing techniques, how to help people, how to help them to solve their problems and achieve their goals for a very long period of time. About 3 years ago, I had a setback in one of my businesses. I sold that business and wrote a book, Real Estate Evolution, which is a 10-step guide to consistent, predictable income for real estate agents. And as a result of authoring that book, then I began the Consistent Predictable Income community for salespeople. And so that is a community of sales professionals that are guided towards having consistent income every single month, particularly commission-based salespeople. So one of the challenges with people that are entrepreneurs or owners or commission-based salespeople is the fact that often we don't have a paycheck. And so that's the biggest challenge that I found in business. And so put together a methodology to be able to help people to have that consistent paycheck every month.
Oh, awesome. So I'm going to follow up with that one. And these are different from what our topic is, but these are what I consider warm-up questions. So what's your methodology for developing that income through your sales technique with persuasion and marketing? I'm kind of curious about that, if you don't mind sharing a few quick tips.
Well, absolutely. So, and we're going to dive deep into this in the conversation today, in some of the bullet points that we're going to be talking about, but it's about following habits. Habits lead to success. Yeah, discipline leads to habits, and habits lead to success. And so, and it's having the discipline to take small steps in your business every single day, and taking the right small steps every single day, and only devoting just a small amount of time to it, yet devoting that time every single day. That's the biggest priority that most sales professionals that will allow for them to be able to have that success.
Which you'll be sharing how to do that in one of our other segments of the show. So, right? I think that's what you alluded to.
That is what I alluded to.
Good deal. Making sure we were on the right track. So, Plinny, you want to ask the next question?
I think Plinny left us there.
Okay, she has a little bit of no case called the Internet Gremlins, and it creeps up from time to time, but she always comes back in. So that means I guess I need to take over from here. So that's no problem. So the next question is, what your topic says on helping clients flourish successfully, and I'd like to know a little bit what you mean by the definition of flourish. What does it mean to you? Because there's so many different understandings of the English language. So let's get that cleared up first.
Well, ultimately what flourish is, so if you consider the definitions of the word success means a lot of different things, just like flourish does to different people. And what flourish is, it's the second step of success. So success is obtaining your goals. Success is getting what you intend to get out of life. To flourish is then to be happy with what it is that you've achieved. So if you could consider that, success is getting what you want, and to flourish is to be happy with what you get.
You know, like we used to say in the childcare profession, because I taught for 20 years, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Okay, that'll be catchy for somebody later. But anyway, I don't know if that relates or not, but I just had to throw it in there for fun. So anyway, but that's very good. That's very good definition. Plinny, we were talking about what his definition was to flourishing, and he gave a great point, which is success means obtaining your goals, and flourish means being happy with what you get, and probably growing. Growth has something to do with that too, I'm sure. But Plinny, would you like to ask the next question before we and then we might have a couple more minutes for another question afterwards.
Yes, I'm really curious about, because you say that you use a persuasion marketing in your methodology. Would you like to tell me like a couple of ideas what persuasion marketing is?
Well, in anything,
and how our guests, our listeners can use, if you have a tip about it.
Yes. So in life, we are always persuading somebody in life, whether that's a spouse, a partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a child, whoever the case may be. It's about understanding to say, well, how will I persuade somebody? Yet before you want to persuade them, you should understand about using the tools for the benefit of the individuals that you're speaking with or that you're communicating with. And so to be able to persuade, you have to first seek to say, what is it that this individual wants to obtain? And once you understand that as a benchmark, then in sales, oftentimes it's about shortening the gap in between where they are and where they want to go. Because what happens is that in between that gap, from the buyer's perspective, from the client's perspective, often it's an emotional fear that causes them not to make a purchase. So when you're intending to persuade to be able to do that, there's a very specific methodology. And Plinny had asked for you to take out your pen and pencil earlier, so keep that out. So the CPI communication model is how to persuade. And what that is step one. It's 3 steps. So step one is to be in rapport. And what rapport is a connectivity. It's an energetic connection. So if you think of 2 dancers, for example, and one dancer places her right shoulder in and her partner takes his left shoulder out, and they dance in unison and they never touch each other, but they energetically move in a manner that they are connected. So that is what rapport is. So step 1 to the CPI communication model is to be in rapport. Step 2 is to ask adept questions. Adept questions are geared towards finding out what's truly important to another individual. So you want to dive deep in those questions. So you would ask a question such as, what do you want? They would answer that question in whatever manner that they answer it, and then will tell me more about that. What does that mean to you? What will you achieve when you get that? And that's the way that you dive deep through adept questions. So step 1 is to be in rapport. Step 2 is to ask adept questions. And then step 3 is to actively listen. So actively listen means that you're not just listening to the words, you're paying attention to the energy. You're paying attention to who that person is being. Sometimes somebody may give you a yes, and it may sound like, well, yes. Oh, I heard you say yes, yet it didn't seem like maybe that was a yes. Can you help me understand that? And so not just the words, yet also the energy. And when you can listen to the energy, the communication, the words through actively listening, then you're in a position to be able to persuade. And so persuasion ultimately is just filling the gap in between where somebody is, where they want to go, and helping them eliminate any fears that they have along that journey so that they can achieve what they intend, what they want to achieve without letting their fear get in the way.
That is brilliant.
Oh, that was an answer.
Thank you.
And that's spot
Yeah,
on.
because I think you clarified really, really well, because a lot of people think that persuasion marketing is like convincing someone to do something they don't want to do. But actually, thank you so much for your answer, because you clarified that you are actually not letting people do anything that they don't want to do, but helping them to understand what they really want.
Yeah, I think
so you're helping them.
Yeah, as human beings, we have goals, and one of the biggest things that gets into our way of achieving those goals is our fear of the unknown, is our fear of being judged, our fear of what will others think of me. If I go on to a podcast, if I go on to a show, will people judge me? And Plinny, you said it perfectly earlier in your third point where it says, just do it, right? Like just start.
Oh, it seems like that when you say, oh, just do it, they say, oh, is that a step? Oh my gosh, that's the biggest one, because everybody overdo it and overthink it. Yeah.
But you have to put those fears to the side to be able to do that. You have to be. And here's something that I do and something that I teach. It's about understanding that we are spiritual beings manifested in this physical experience. And so once we understand that we're spiritual beings, now we can approach life in a manner that ultimately it just doesn't matter, right? It really just doesn't matter what people think of me, because at the end, my spirit, I hope, lives on. I know my body won't at some point in the future. And at the end, it's just all over. I mean, at least the physical experience is over. And so if that's the case, then what would cause me to be concerned about what other people think about me? What would cause me to be concerned about making a mistake? As long as you treat people right, as long as you treat people with respect and you do the right thing, you don't have to worry about being in judgment of others, in my strong opinion.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's even allowing ourselves to make mistakes. That you can maybe actually is not a mistake what comes out, and or you can learn from it. Right?
Well, I think that mistakes are just the only mistake in life is to do something
Really
and have an unintended consequence and then not learn from it. So the actual mistake is the not learning. Everything else is a learning opportunity. And in business, for sure, I've made a ton of mistakes.
I'm still learning. But
that's right.
The long story short is I always tell people, especially my students, because what you're saying is spot on to what I've been saying to some of my students too, by the way. So thank you for the understanding of the persuasion. But one of the things you need to understand also is mistakes are not fatal. Of course, unless you kill somebody, that's different. But I'm like, mistakes are not fatal. They're just lessons to learn from and to grow and to develop. And it helps you evolve into something better than what you were before. And hopefully a better person from it as a result. But I mean, am I kind of pretty much alluding to what you were just saying there, or spot on, or am I totally far off? Okay, good.
No, you are spot on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we actually have to go to commercial break, and Dan has agreed to stick around. So, Plinny, would you like to take us to commercial break?
Of course, Dan, thank you so much. Talking about the flourishing and persuasion marketing. So people stick with us. Thank you for sharing valuable tips and help our audience to grow. So this is the Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show. And this ended this segment of our show. You are listening to the Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show with your host, Mary Mason, and co-host Plinny Phoenix. We will be right back. We are going to commercial break now.
We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Marketing Mindset Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry, with your host, Marie Mason. The show is brought to you by Liberty Virtual Solutions. We work with business coaches and speakers to help them market and host their webinars and upsell their coaching programs and develop heart-centered relationships with their audience. Welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show with your host, Marie Mason, a premier podcast that helps you master your marketing skills.
Oh, I'm always bebopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just dancing all back in.
That music is really like
good beat.
It's bringing you in.
Right? Yeah, actually, the person that designed that the intros and outros for me was one of my third speakers on the show, and his name is Joseph Paul Smiley. And he smiles a lot, by the way. He's from Nigeria, and he's quite talented in doing video editing, etc. So he did those intros and outros for me. And Cheryl Bernstein was my previous co-host, and that's her voice doing that. So had to share that.
Very nice.
We are back at the Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show with our wonderful, talented guest, Dan. And am I saying it correctly? Rochon?
Yes, Rochon.
Okay, I probably had it pronounced incorrectly earlier, so I had to double
There's
check.
been an evolution of your pronunciation.
I I never say it quite same twice, apparently.
That's all right.
So it's okay. I'm so glad that you're here for the second half of the show. And he is the visionary and head coach of Greetings Virginia from Virginia. He is the owner of Greetings Virginia and founder of Consistent and Predictable Income Community, and has a great podcast to boot. So his topic we're going to continue with is on helping clients flourish successfully. So Dan, take it away. I think we got another question for you, and let me just make sure I covered everything. That I always like to make sure I double check my little notes. But did we actually talk about in the last segment? And Plinny, do remind me if we did or not. What was the biggest thing that gets in the way of our success? Have we talked about that yet?
No.
Okay,
A little bit. You started talking about like doing it, just doing it, and take action. Basically, you started talking about that and how our way to think is getting on the way. Can you tell us more about that?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think it gets on the way of these people that needs to flourish? They deserve to flourish.
Absolutely, Pliny and Marie. So the one thing that gets in the way of people's success is a single word, and that word is the word how. Because what I've recognized is that it's easy to say, I want to do X. Yet, whatever that X may be, do you really truly believe that you can get there? Well, what the second thing is let's say I want to climb Mount Everest. Great. That sounds ambitious. Now, the next thing is, wait, how am I going to do that? I don't know how to do that. I don't know. And then now that's where all the doubt comes from. So to be able to take that how and move it aside, what I suggest that you consider is, why is it that you want to climb Mount Everest? Or let's make it a more manageable goal. Why is it that you want to earn a paycheck? And when I ask people why, often what I hear from them is this altruistic, big, I want to save the world answer, which is ambitious and worthy, and that is admirable. Yet, if you go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you understand that it's impossible to achieve a need that's higher than where you are in your life, then changing the world and feeding all the children is near impossible if you can't pay your own bills. So if you can understand why is it that you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, and you place that why in the area of where you are in your life. So for example, if you're an entrepreneur, why is it that you want to be an entrepreneur? Well, let's be real about that. If depending on where you are, the answer to that could be very, very valid of, I intend to be an entrepreneur. I intend to be a marketer so that I can pay my mortgage, so that I can pay my car bill. That's a completely valid answer. And it's actually a more powerful answer than if you say, I want to change the world. Unless if all your other needs are met first. So when you sit there and you say the thing that gets in our way is that how. So now the way that we take that how and accomplish and place that to the side is, why do you want to do whatever it is that you want to do? So now when your why is substantial enough, the how will always show up. So now you no longer have to worry about that how stopping you if your why is substantial enough. And if it is substantial enough to say, I want to eat, feed my daughter, and pay my bills, that could be a very, very substantial enough reason to figure out how to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then as your needs get met, then you can build upon that and aspire to be able to do more and more in your life, and your whys can become bigger.
Wow, that's the thing, exactly. Because every time we organize something, we want to do something, and then the first thing, you're right, you think, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
And then you stop thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know to do it. I don't know to do it. And then you don't do it. You don't do anything. You don't make even the first step of even getting research about it, because you think that the how is so big that overwhelms you. So you said it right. You're taking on a side. I love it.
No, both of you have some good points, because that's where I think you're right. A lot of people don't know how to achieve their goals. And I keep sitting there. You need to create like a quick little action steps in something that's in bite-sized pieces. And I don't know, how would you recommend doing that? I mean, I'm just going to follow up a question with that, and then we'll dive into the other questions.
We talked about habits earlier,
Right.
and so it's about understanding so success comes from habits, from daily habits. So to those bite-sized chunks, a race is won in short sprints. And so if you could sprint a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit tomorrow, and you keep sprinting every single day, just a little bit, then you will eventually achieve your goals. So the key to that is it is much better to sprint 50 yards each day than to run a marathon one day and then do nothing for the next 2 weeks. Okay, because that's where you start generating those peaks and valleys in business, those peaks and valleys in life. And when you have those peaks and valleys in life, then that life becomes uncomfortable.
So you have to be consistent.
Consistency
Absolutely.
is the key.
Yeah. And then finding out what is it that's the lead domino. What is it that if I'm going to chop this tree down, where do I have to hit? What's the thing that's going to knock everything else over? If it's a relationship, for example, so say you want a beautiful relationship with your spouse. Well, what's the lead thing to that? Probably spending time with he or she. So it could boil down to, what's the thing that I need to do today? Well, it could be as simple as place it on my calendar. Then it could be as simple as, I'm going to spend some time with he or she. Then it could be as simple as, well, it's on my calendar. I know I'm going to spend time with my spouse. Well, now maybe I need to go and call a travel agent today. So when you look at that key domino, that first domino to a healthy relationship, it may boil down to an action that is so simple to say, I'm going to call a travel agent to sit there and book me 3 weekends over the next 10 months with my spouse. And then that's the lead measure that everything else will fall afterwards.
That's so simple. I love the way you broke that down. So would that be your daily habits, or just would you explain that a little bit?
Well, the daily habits are going to be dependent upon what you want to do. I just got off the Peloton about an hour ago. That was my 200th ride.
Yay!
So,
Congratulations. We're heading 75. Our 75th episode is next week.
All right. See, there's consistency with your episodes. There's consistency with your brand, with your marketing. So the daily activities is going to be, what is it that, for me, what's my goal? My goal is to be healthy. So if I want to be healthy, then the habit is just exercising 30 minutes a day. That's it. It is so simple. And then I want to have my weight to be manageable. So the habit is to eat more vegetables and drink more water.
Simple.
Okay. It is. So it depends on what your goals are, right? So if your goals are health, so for me, it's about taking a look at the key areas of your life. And the key areas of life, from my perspective, are spiritualness, our physicalness, our mental health, relationship health, job, business. These are the areas that for me are important. So in each one of these boxes, it's about sitting there saying, okay, well, what's the most important thing for my spiritual relationship? What's the most important thing for my job, for my business, for whatever it is? And that's where you track that into the lead indicator on that, which I shared with you earlier. Then that lead indicator becomes your habit. So if my physical health is important to me and I track that all the way back to exercising 30 minutes a day, Now that's the habit to develop. Now, when I exercise 30 minutes every single day, that's manageable. Everybody can do that. Whether it's going to take a walk or more extensive weight training or whatever it is, jumping jacks, it doesn't matter what it is. It's only 30 minutes.
I haven't done jumping jacks
Hey.
for years.
I did them yesterday.
Oh, well, that's good that you could do that. I am definitely not ready for that. Dancing's a different story. I'm more likely to do that. But yeah, whatever floats your boat as far as the exercise is what we're saying, right?
That's right.
But anyway, the point is you're consistently going out there and creating that habit, whatever it is, and keep it simple. It sounds like it's like keep the process simple. Is that correct?
Yeah, like making everything simple is like taking the pressure out of your shoulders, right?
Yeah, I think when I was talking to, I do a group coaching call every Thursday morning. And I was talking to a gentleman earlier today in my coaching program, and he was communicating about an effort that we were talking about, a marketing effort, a mailing campaign. And he was going through data after data after data after data after data. And I shared with him, I said, all that data is perfect. All that data is great. And it may not appeal to everybody. Because what's the purpose of a sales letter? The purpose of a sales letter is to get somebody to take some action, whatever that action is, whether it's book a call with you or send you an email or send you a text or hire you, whatever that case may be. And I was sharing with them, I said, well, if you keep the letter simple, then you're going to cause more results. If you complicate the letter and you convolute it with data, that's data, it's going to appeal to about 25 or actually about 20% of the population. So you're losing about 80% of the population by not keeping it simple. And so in life, in marketing, and whatever it is that you're doing, when you can keep things simple, now they become manageable.
Right. That's it. Keep it simple equals manageable. I love it.
And basically, is this part of your process for what's the word I'm looking for? I ever have days where you just get tongue tied. Maybe that's what I was talking about earlier. So you just get tongue tied, but not nervous, just more thinking very fast in my head, and my mouth can't keep up. So they got to coordinate and collaborate. So we were saying earlier. And I can't remember what it was now. So we'll just go on to the next one. If I could think of it, I'll come back to it. So is there anything that you would no, actually, what I don't know if we touched I know we talked about the habits, which is awesome and on point. And I know we talked about keeping things simple in our programming, but is this how we alter our programming?
Okay.
Can you explain that? Because I think just for clarification's sake.
Yeah. So let me share with you a thing called a self-coaching model.
Okay.
Okay. And so programming is the key component to creating and designing your life. So what we have in our lives is that we have like this circle of results. And so you probably have a friend. I have a friend. She lives in Washington State. And she marries the same guy over and over and over again. She dates the same guy over and over and over again. He is an alcoholic. He cheats on her. And he's a horrible partner. He just has a different name. So here's a cycle of a friend who I care for. Yet she's unable to create a different result. And so if you intend to create a different result in life, the method or the circle of life, and you mentioned programming, Marie, starts with programming. So the programming then leads to our thoughts. The thoughts then leads to our feelings. The feelings lead to our actions. The actions lead to our results. In my friend's case, that's dating the same bozo over and over again. The results then feed back into the programming. So that is a closed loop, which is why so many people get the same results over and over and over again. So programming leads to thoughts, thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results, and results feed back into the programming. So the hack on the self-coaching model rests within the programming. The programming is what we can change. And how you program is by being intentional about your surroundings. So ways that you can change your program include things like meditation, being deliberate in your affirmations, being selective on the relationships that you establish and that you keep. What are you watching? Are you watching the news channel every single day? I don't care what it is, CNN, Fox, I don't care what your flavor is. Whatever it is all going to be negative, 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 bad and wrong, bad and wrong, bad and wrong, because that's what sells. So if you think about this and you're feeding your program with negative, 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 what are your thoughts going to be?
Negative.
And then what are you going to feel? You're going to feel negative. And then what type of actions will you take?
You're
negative actions.
You're not going to think clearly, and you're going to make a lot more mistakes along the way too.
So then what kind of results are you going to have?
Negative results.
Bad.
Right. So it starts in the programming where it's the same type of thing. If you have empowering friends, people that are going to lift you up, people are going to push you, encourage you, cheer you on, love you. If you read, if you listen to great podcasts, if you exercise, if you take the action to program your mind in a place that's healthy, that is empowering, that is powerful, that is successful, then you're going to have those thoughts, and that's going to feed all the way around. You're going to change your results.
So you then actually, you apply this good programming in every step. So you apply to your thoughts. So you try to see the good in things. You apply to your feelings, trying to do something that makes you feel better. And so actions and results are different.
Well, the feelings, it's all one leads to the other. The thing that you can make a difference is the programming.
So where to make it like something practical, where do you start? Do you start doing something that you like to change your feelings, or do you start with your thoughts? Where do you start as a first step for a person that is in that circle?
Yeah, the first and only step of that cycle rests within the programming. Okay, so if you think of it like a clock, and you put the programming at the top at 12 o'clock, and then you put the thoughts at like 2 o'clock, the feelings at like 5 o'clock, the actions at 7, and the results at 9 or 10. And then you put a circle around that, the programming, and one leads to the other. The thoughts.
So you basically sit really down and decide the new plan.
Well, you decide what are you going to allow for you to enter into your environment? If you want to, here's the thing. Would you have a different feeling if you woke up in the morning and you listened to an empowering podcast or an educational podcast, or if you watch news that's talking about catastrophes and political nonsense?
No, thank you.
I'm not suggesting to not be knowledgeable. I'm not suggesting to not know the news. Know it, but don't dwell upon it.
Right. Yeah. And here's how I control my environment. We don't watch the news. It does not mean we don't pay attention to like occasional newspapers and the reading of what's going on there in the
What's a newspaper?
Yeah, I know. Well,
that's the news.
I just read the highlights. I don't have time to read the whole thing. I read the highlights. The point is though, because you still have to be informed. You have to know what's going around you so that you know there's going to be cases where it's going to affect how we do things in our life, in our business, right? Absolutely. So long story short, we need to be aware of what's going on out there, but at the same time, we can't let that negative, what I see a lot of people do is let that negative stuff that's going on in the world affect how they feel and how they act and how they do and how they behave. And unfortunately, we need to be able to control our own mindset is what I think you're trying to say, and what we feed our brains. So every time
Yeah.
you put something negative in, make sure you're pouring something positive in to kind of water it down, the negative. Is that
Well, you
what
could
you're
choose.
saying?
Well, it's about your environment. I use the news as one thing, right? Another thing is that affirmations, right? Being intentionally affirmations. By the way, we all have affirmation. 100% of us.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about here's what some may think. You stub your toe. I'm a dummy. You stub your
Yeah.
toe.
Yeah.
Ouch, that hurts. I'm not going to do that again. Those are two different perspectives of the way that you could respond to that. One of which serves you and one of which does not.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's that self-talk, but again, that's all about the thoughts, right? So it goes back to the programming, right? So what can you do intentionally? Meditation, affirmations, reading, exercise, relationships. These are the things that you can intentionally focus on.
Right.
So basically, the programming is what can you do intentionally to change your situation?
To change,
What's
absolutely,
under
to change your
your
circumstance.
control?
Yeah.
Even environment, there are some things that you cannot change around you, but there are some things that you can decide to change, like the people that you said earlier, the people that you
Associate with.
yeah, that you go out with, that you live with, the stuff that you read, the stuff that you watch. They're all getting in a good mood or not in a good mood.
Right.
And you can change those things. They're your call, not someone else's call. So
One
that's a
thing-
good thing. Programming in that sense, like choosing what makes you feel good, it's under your control. Make those choices.
Perfect. And one of the things I always tell my son, excuse me, who's 15. I almost said my husband, but anyway, I always tell him too sometimes, only when I have to remind him. But mostly I tell my son, our son, that you're in control of your actions, your attitudes, your beliefs, and your reactions, and your values as well. So you control that piece. So also whatever you react to, there's consequences. There's good consequences and bad consequences. You got to decide what that is for you. And so I have to kind of remind him consistently, and I remind myself at the same time. So don't feel like I'm just chastising him, because I always remind myself the same thing. So anyway, oh my gosh, can you believe we're almost at the end of the show? I know
Yeah,
I have
we are.
one last thing. I don't know if we have time, but can you give a little quick hack for how we can handle all of what you explained to us with that affirmations, etc., and anything else we talked about on today's show? Can a quick summary?
Let me give you 7 habits quickly.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw these out to you, and we may not have time to expand on them. But the habits that I have in my life in business are the habits of lead generating on a daily basis, blocking my time for the most important activity, providing massive value to others through contribution, asking for referrals in business. I start my day early. I intend to have the right mindset, and I take planned breaks.
Oh,
Good
breaks.
tips.
Yeah, everybody forgot those.
Yeah.
Then that was great, especially the part of the programming and the circle as a watch. I love it. So watch again the episode and check that part. It was my favorite. I'm sure our listeners and watchers want to get in contact with you. How can they find you? And do you have a surprise for them?
Well, they can find me on they can visit www.danrochon.com. That's ROCHON.com. And on a different website, I wrote a course called The Death of Potential: Why 97% of Potential Millionaires Quit. And that's a free course that the listeners can find at www.findyourpotential.life. So that's findyourpotential.life. And they can enjoy that class as a gift from me to you.
Oh, thank you for
I
that.
would check it out. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just writing it down before I forget. I'm sorry. I have to do those things. It's just one of the things it's one of my little daily habits. There you go. So anyway, we're talking about habits, but oh my gosh, I want to thank Dan Rochon for his valuable tips on how to help our audience grow themselves and their business on the Marketing Mindset Mastery radio show. So many helpful tips on how to help your clients grow and be successful and flourish. And oh my gosh, you name it, it's all there. So I want to encourage you to take advantage of his offer. He has a couple of offers, and I'm going to share it. One is a free course, which is www.findyourpotential. Is it potential life? Dan, let's make sure I have it clear.
Potential.life.
Okay, potential.life. Okay.
Find your potential.life.
Perfect. No, I just want to make sure I had that correct. So yeah, and then also make sure that if you can go into his calendar link and book a call with him at calendly.com/Dan Rochon, ROCHON /4. And then also make sure you go and grab his, I think that's all the ones we shared for today for right now. And if not, I'll make sure some of the links are posted later on. But make sure you can also grab the links on the radio station W4CY.com page, also, which I have not been updating, and I apologize. I'm trying to get better at updating the YouTube channel. So do go to our YouTube channel and just look for Marketing Mindset Mastery and click on that link and you'll see me. Trust me, you can't miss it. Red shirt, red hair, purple background, easy to spot. And so we're all over the place. You will be so glad that you can take advantage of all of his gifts that he has to offer. And oh my gosh, don't forget to check out our merchandise shop on Marketing Mindset Mastery Shop. And we are offering a special because it's back to school season and my son's going to back to high school this year. So in honor of all the teachers, we're going to have a special. Anyone who purchases a $45 school backpack, and it's very cutely designed, then I will be giving $5 to a lucky teacher in our local area. And if it catches on really well, I will be donating it to other teachers all across the U.S. So please make sure you check out our shop at libertyvirtualsolutions.com /shop. And Plinny, would you like to close us out, dear?
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, yes. And we arrive at the end of this week. Dan, thank you so much for your valuable tips. They were really, really nice. So please come back because there is so much to say. We can talk about that again. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to us here on Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show. And we are here every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time here on W4CY Radio. So come back next week with another guest, and our host, Mary Mason, with me, Plinny Phoenix, the host. And we'll see you next time.
And our guest, Dan.
Next time again. So thank you. This ends this week's show.
Have a good one. Bye.
Go to our radio page and check out the gifts from our speakers. We'll see you next time on Marketing Mindset Mastery with your host, Marie Mason.